Okay, number 4, we want to write a function of this equation that has been reflected about the y-axis. So we have y equals 4, the fourth root of x, and then we're going to reflect it about the y-axis. Okay, so what reflects a graph about the y-axis is making a negative b. Okay, a negative b will reflect it across the y-axis. So that is whatever's in the grouping symbols, we're going to make that b term negative. So I'm going to write the same expression. I'm going to write a 4 out front, and then I'm going to choose the root that gives me a fourth root, and then underneath here I'm going to do negative x, and that's going to reflect it across the y-axis. Number 6, we want to find the function that, after it's graphed, has the following transformations applied to the graph of y equals square root of x. We want to shift it up 2 units, and then we're going to reflect it about x and reflect it about y. Okay, so let's start with the shift. So we're going to do the square root of x. Now to shift it up, we're going to be dealing with that k value. So I'm going to be adding a 2 at the back. It's not going to be underneath the square root, so I need to arrow out of there and then do plus 2. So that's going to do the shift up 2 units. Now we're going to reflect it about the x-axis. Okay, so how do we do that? We reflect about the x-axis by making a negative. That's going to be out front. Now, when you have an expression like this, out of an abundance of caution, you always want to put that in parentheses, so that when you tack that negative on, you're making sure that you affect everything. That negative is also going to affect that 2 later on. But you have a shift of 2, you can tell it's outside of the bracket, the square root, and then you're going to flip it across the x-axis by adding that negative a value out front. And then we reflect across the y-axis by making the b value negative. So now we're going to go inside and add a negative in the front. And that's going to be under the root. So this is going to give us both those changes.